Hi there. In this video I'm going to share how to make a Jeffy puppet out of a few sheets of paper. Welcome along. My name is Ben Stanley and I design and create working replicas of beloved Muppets, puppets, characters and creatures. So if papercraft's your thing, please do like this video. It's been a year now since I posted my first video, and to celebrate I thought I would make the puppet that I've had the most requests to make, and that's this guy here.
Wanna see my pencil?
Yeah, no thanks. At this stage I'd normally do a bit of a conversation with the puppet, but actually, as you can tell, I really can't do the voice, but also there's not a huge amount of family friendly material to work with, so instead I'm just going to show you the puppet. Side view as well, yeah, he's got flexible, his arms go, so I'm really happy with the way it turned out. It was a lot of fun to make. So should we get into it? This is how to make a Jeffy puppet out of a few sheets of paper.
Let's go, Daddy!
So this is a puppet made with, I think, 13 sheets of paper and a couple of polystyrene balls. And we're going to start with the jaw. And what I say with all of these videos is that it's really important to score and fold all of the lines before you do any of the gluing. This, as I say, is going to be the jaw. We're just going to double glue this over, as this section here that I'm cutting is going to be attached to the t-shirt, so you just want a bit of extra strength. Now, this was a mistake. This is a sort of finger loop that I'm going to add on to the jaw that the thumb will go into, but actually I really shouldn't have added it at this point because I'm going to make life a bit difficult for myself later on, but I did, so this is the way I'll show it. But when we get to that stage where you should add it in, I'll show you that there. And then we're on to, these are the ears. So this is showing you how to do one ear, and again it's really important to score and fold all of these bits in advance because it just makes the gluing much easier. And with the ear, it's not an exact match to Jeffy's ear, but what I took inspiration from actually is fortune cookies. So I thought to myself, well, fortune cookies have that kind of shape, so I kind of looked at how fortune cookies worked, and then I kind of took that on board and then pretty much did something quite different, but that was my initial idea there. So one thing I find really useful when doing the gluing on these sort of puppets is to often run something up behind it, especially something sort of quite fiddly like this ear. If you can kind of put a spatula in there and then really just hold it, and it allows you to press against it to really bond the two bits of paper with the glue, because that's the thing that's going to take the most time actually, is just standing there holding the paper together until it kind of fully bonds. And then this is the only non-paper part of the puppet, and it's the eyes and the nose. And as you can see, we're using one polystyrene ball for the two eyeballs, and we'll just colour those in with some felt tips. And then the nose is just a little bit sliced off, and it's more or less a full sphere there. So then we're on to the face, and we're going to add on all of the features of the face. We're starting here with the eyelids, adding them at the top, and I did try lower eyelids as well, but it just became a bit too busy. We're putting the eyes in there, both at a slightly different angle, and then we can just glue down the eyelids. And then we're adding the nose in. I'm going to put in the pencil, and then we'll take it out and put that back in later. Putting the ears in here as well. Adding all these features while the paper is flat is a lot easier than attempting to glue them in once you've sort of created the 3D shape. Talking of which, we're now going to sort of fold these lines, and we can start to create the shape of the top half of the head. So we've got some markers there that just show you where to glue in these flaps at an angle, and then we're going to again glue some more. This just is going to create more of that sort of three-dimensionality around the cheeks. We just need to glue it in at the back. So we're doing the same on the other side. And that's the face, and then we take these top cuts and we're just going to glue them all together, which just again gives us the forehead tapering away. And you can see all these lines line up like the eyebrows and also the cord for his helmet. Then we want to be able to keep the shape at the top of the head, so we're just going to add in this extra band of paper here, which will just keep everything held in place at the top. And then we're on to the teeth, which are just cut out and folded. And then glued into the roof of the mouth. And this is where we're going to add the finger loop for the top of the mouth. And what I've done here is add an extra little cut in either side to be able to feed the finger loop through and then glue it at the bottom. That's just going to make it more secure eventually. And then we're going to glue in the jaw to the head. And this is the point where you realise that we shouldn't have put in the finger loop at the bottom, because what I've had to do is do some extra cuts in order to fold down and glue the paper there. So if we hadn't put the finger loop in, we'd have just been able to fold that and glue that straight down, and then we could have glued the finger loops on top. And then we're just going to glue in here, and actually even gluing in with these tabs we're still able to open and close the mouth quite easily because we've got a bit of give further back. So as you can see, it opens and closes quite easily there. And now we're onto the t-shirt, and we're just going to fold over this bottom section to give it a bit of strength. And these bits here is where we're going to give ourselves a bit of space to put the arm in at the back. So as I said, we glue those tabs and then we're going to glue the neck into the t-shirt here. And then we're onto the hands, and we'll get two hands out of a single sheet of paper, and we're just going to line it up on this guideline here, which is going to allow us the right sort of thickness, and we're going to glue in behind the fingers and squash that down. So the fingers themselves will be quite flat, and they'll sort of move out to a bit more three-dimensionality further down the hand. And then we're just going to fold these sections down and add on some extra tabs, and this is what's going to glue the arms into the sleeves, which we'll make shortly. And we'll just cut out the fingers, and then we're just going to squeeze the wrists there, and we're going to create the elbow joint as well. And we're onto the sleeves, and again we just fold this over for a bit more strength around where the sleeves start. And these tabs are being folded again for a bit more strength. So we're going to glue the arm into the sleeves, and then glue the sleeve, and then with these four tabs you can see they're going to go through these cuts that we've already made, and then they're going to glue into place behind, and that'll secure the sleeve. And as you can see on the other side there, because this is quite thin paper I was using, I've added some extra paper in just to strengthen around where the cuts are. And then we've got the two hands. Next we're going to construct the back of the neck, and we're going to glue this at the bottom again for strength, and that'll just allow strength at the back top of the t-shirt. And then we're going to sort of glue the top in there to taper the head so that it's going to allow for the head to move up and down when the talking happens, and the helmet will kind of go over it and it's not going to catch. And then we're going to glue the back of the neck into the t-shirt. And as you can see, it just fits inside the head there. Then we're onto the bottom of the t-shirt just to complete the structure around the base, and this just glues in at the bottom. And I just unglued slightly the strip at the bottom of the t-shirt to fit it in there. And that's the top of the body completed. So then we're on to the legs, and again similar to the arms, we're rolling up this beige paper. We're going to glue this halfway up because we're going to glue the shorts directly into the back of the legs. And you can see there in the blue paper I've done a little fold halfway down. That again is just to strengthen it slightly. As you can see there, it's just going to glue in, and then we'll roll the paper that will become the shorts all the way around and glue it so that you can't see that they're attached at the back. Then we've got the socks, which we're going to roll up, glue, and then put onto the legs. You push those all the way up, and then we're going to fold the feet, give it a bit of a crimp there for an ankle, and then the next section is to bend the knees, and then again create the knees at the front. And then we'll glue those socks onto the base of what is effectively the foot, and that'll just keep them anchored at the bottom when we put them into the trainers. At the top of the leg, we're going to create this fold here, which will give it a little bit of flexibility to move the legs left and right. And then we're onto the nappy, and again, pre-scoring this is really important because that just allows us to fold this curved line. And then we just glue it in place at both sides. The curved line is very sharp, but you can kind of push it out slightly to give it a bit more of a lived-in feel. You can do that on both sides. And then we're going to attach the legs directly into the back of the nappy, and we just fold that flap over and glue it into the very back. And we do that on both sides. And then we're onto the trainers, and again, really important to score and fold all these lines before you start the gluing, so I'm going to show you this in all of the detail. And I managed to get both trainers out of a single sheet of paper here. And this little fold here is really important because that's going to allow the sort of toe end of the shoe to work quite nicely. So we're onto the gluing. We'll just glue up the back first. We'll do the same on both sides. And we're just going to fold down the back there into little triangles, and that creates a nice sort of back of the trainer. And then we're on to gluing at the front. And we just fold it at the point I mentioned earlier. And then we glue it down the side. And we do exactly the same on the other side. And we've got the trainer there. And then we're going to glue the foot and put it into the trainer. And that'll just hold in there nicely. And there you've got the bottom half of his body. And then we're onto the helmet, and you could do this all in a single sheet, but because the brown didn't print brilliantly onto the blue, I just did it on white paper as well, cut out the sections where the gaps are on the blue paper, and then just had it underneath and doubled up. It gives it a bit of extra strength as well. But as you can see here, we're just going to fold it into a sort of oval shape, three-dimensional oval shape. And then that glues onto the sort of top of that headband. And glues in place. And the last stage is to glue the back of the nappy into the back of the t-shirt. And we're not actually going to glue the front section, because what we'll do instead is put just a strip of paper in, which will glue to the front of the nappy and the t-shirt, but at a point at which you can allow the front to move independently from the nappy at the front, so it just gives it a bit more movement. And the final touch is, of course, to add the pencil into the nose. And that is your Jeffy. So there you have it, a full-size Jeffy puppet made out of a few sheets of paper. Now, if you've enjoyed this video, you might want to check out my Sonic the Hedgehog puppet making video over there. Until next time, bye bye.